green?
You're green.
Okay.
And it's not just your shirt.
That's green too.
Yeah.
I like green. So.
Yeah.
How you doing, Trent?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
So you got the car seat today, huh?
I did. I got in trouble. I found out that, I was supposed to take the other car because Wednesdays have become library day. So they go and they do like a toddler like reading thing. And so, now I was called me. She's like, hey, you took the wrong car. And I'm like, oh, no. So she's like, that's okay. We'll go Friday or something like that. So,
I was just driving by a library the other day and I was like, I remember being a kid looking forward to going to the library.
Mm-hmm.
All the books and stuff. And they had some VHSs and stuff.
Yeah. Not
to date myself. But, the books, just going down there, just seeing all the books, hanging out, just being able to check some out.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove by one the other day and I was like, man, I wonder if a lot of people still go to the library or
I think a fair amount do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never empty. When I've been there, like there's always like one or two people. So I think it's, it's a great resource. I think that it's definitely something that, like, I don't know, I stopped going to at a certain point. I'm trying to remember like how it went for me, because I think I just started buying some of the books that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
And collecting them a little bit that way. Yeah, I think because my last few series were, I read the Game of Thrones books. I own those. I read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and I own those. So, yeah, I think I just started buying them instead of just checking out from the library. I know it would have been cheaper, but now it's like, I think there's something about owning the copy of the book that you read, get that, start to feel that bookshelf effect, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that, like seeing the actual book, although I could see that kind of being, library type effect. And it's just like, that's the book. But there is something about reading it on the pages versus reading something, on a phone or tablet or whatever. Like, it's interesting because, 4,000 years ago, they only read things off of tablets. And then they started making scrolls and then books. And now we're reading on tablets again. We went full circle 4,000 years later.
Yep.
So
the tablets are a little bit better.
We don't have to inscribe them nowadays.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how that works. So bell bottoms are coming back as well.
Seen it.
So I don't do a whole lot of reading, but I can actually pinpoint the change of when I stopped reading. And it was when I started working in the oil fields. And I started listening to a lot more book on tapes because I was operating heavy equipment, and that's what I could do, keep my mind active. I started listening to a lot of books because I was really into fantasy. So, and it actually, the Game of Thrones books were really the kind of the first real books I listened to on. So those were the first ones that I listened to. And actually I had to wait till they came out because the first 3 books were the only ones out when I first listened to those. Yeah. And I'm waiting for 4 and 5.
And 6 will never come.
Yeah. And then, but those were the best books. And I got to say, as much as if you like the series, like the movies and stuff, you have no idea until you read those books. And granted, I didn't actually read them, but I listened to them. And the way the character development and how they destroy everyone and the way they go about it, the books you could never make a movie like that.
Yeah. Well, because it's harder for certain things. Like, I mean, I remember there was like characters that you didn't know who this person was, a shadowy figure. You get to be like more like aloof, with it. Yeah. When they're on screen, like, that's that guy.
Yes.
I know who that is. Yeah. So
interesting.
But there was like different things where like character just got revealed, like, I'm here now. And like, oh yeah, we're like for like X number of pages or for a while, like, I don't know who this is exactly, but so there's different things you can do with the book. It's your own imagination and like way to some extent. But no, I really enjoyed the books too. And like there'd be times where people are like, I don't know, I haven't seen this character on screen for a while. I'm like, well, when you read the books, I'd started thumbing through like, where's the next section? 200 pages? I don't get to see what happens to Daenerys for 200 pages?
Well, that is the thing is like, so most books, when you read books, they're so much longer, and there's so much more information in the book than there is in the movie.
Yeah. Details.
Yeah,
thoughts.
Details. It's just, I mean, the descriptions. plot development. It's so much more advanced in books.
Yeah.
And I will say, so I actually, about a month ago, putting this into play, I used to only read my Bible on my Bible app.
Okay.
And, it was fine and stuff. And also on that Bible app, the nice thing is you can hit play.
Yeah.
And you got some guy that's super boring putting you to sleep. But you can listen to it before bed. And it's like, listen, I don't know what it is. It's fantastic to listen to before bed. And maybe I'm subliminally getting it in after, I go to sleep anyways. But they've been challenging us at church to just start bringing our Bibles. And they've been doing this for a couple of years.
And you're like, I got it right here.
Yeah. And I am like, normally I'm like that. I'm like, you know what? And about a month or so, maybe 6 weeks ago, I was like, they put me in charge of teaching a lesson to the high schoolers. And so I had to prep and prepare and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it out of, my Bible, and I started just doing my morning reading because I read it every morning out of the actual book rather than reading it off my phone or the screen or whatever. And your body takes it in differently. Like your mind takes it in differently. There's something tactile about turning the page. It's so engaging. And my mind just goes crazy, like my imagination with what I'm reading and stuff. And so for the last 6 weeks, I've been really hands-on with that Bible. Like it's just been one of those things where it's like, wow, okay. But maybe there's something to just reading it out of,
It's when you engage more senses. Is what it is. Yeah. So like even they talk about like when you take and you eat food, right? So it's this whole thing, and like Rishwa talk about like especially one of the Sadhguru, he's like very famous, talks about a lot of wisdom, but like it's the touching your food when you eat it actually takes and helps start the digestion process. Your brain knows a little bit more about like what's going on and stuff like that. So that's why it's important to minimize utensils.
Interesting.
Because like
just make sure you have clean hands.
Yeah, there's no connection between the fork or spoon, here. But when you touch your food, I don't know.
Well, they say that about like just going outside in nature, going out barefoot, being connected to the ground gives you a whole different feeling than going out there with shoes on, where you're actually a layer disconnected. Yeah. Or a couple layers disconnected or whatever. That's interesting though. It's more senses. And that makes sense. Yeah. But I will say, yes, it's completely different. So reading it out of an actual
touching
book,
the pages, and
and so we've kind of actually, my son and I, well, he's in 4th grade, so reading's a big thing now. And my now almost 15-year-old, she read her 4th grade year. She read 15 books. And when I say she read 15 books, we read 15 books together. We take turns reading a page. Yeah. It's fun for them. It's more engaging. We can talk about the topic. I feel like part of the issues with reading with kids is retention. Yeah. Sometimes you're just reading words. And so a lot of it is like with Abel right now, his big thing is I want to read as quick as possible. So where's the commas? Where's the periods? Where's he's just reading words. It's just going through reading words, and then he gets hung up on a word and it slows him down. But I've challenged him. I'm like, try to put some emphasis into what you're reading, and
make it more exciting that way.
Make it more exciting.
You're gonna feel it and retain it better.
Yeah, exactly. So like right now,
enjoy it more.
Yeah, there's like different characters in the books. When I read, those characters have subtle variances in how I speak. Yes. Like I give them, whatever type of like a girl, like there's this girl, I can't remember, Holly Mulpepper or whatever. And when she speaks, she gets a little bit of a voice, little girl voice. And so when I read, that's just how I do it. It's like I'm reading to people, and I don't know how my brain does it ahead of time, but I'm always looking ahead. Like my brain could just naturally do it to see who's speaking next. Yeah. So when I get to that line, it's just, and I read pretty quickly. But I think it's just, I've read out loud for so long that I'm good at that. So now that's like Abel and I, that's what we're doing. We're like focusing on, okay, it's not just reading words.
Right.
There's a purpose to
it.
reading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want to get to the point where we're just getting done with something.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And so I'm trying to read books that he's interested in where it's like reading can be fun. You know, people look at it as a chore. And it's like, we do it every day and we don't look at it as a chore when we're just doing it every day. When I want to read the sign and if I got to know which direction I'm going and stuff, I don't look at it as a chore. I just look at it as something that I need to do, you know? And I feel like books can be like that rather than watching TV or something. Read a book, enjoy it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're on that right now.
Yeah. And I think it's good to like, it's about how you instill it. Now, I haven't had the opportunity as much. Now, Rishwa has. She's been able to read some books lately on things, but I think the more that they see you read, the more like because they're excited about it. Now, I always try to like read Arjun like at night and everything. I'm like last night I was like, all right, pick 2 books. Doesn't matter how tired I am. I always try like, all right, let's pick 2 books. You know, because they're short. They're short little books right now. You know. So, and then like, you know, occasionally I'll try to throw it out there. I'll put out one of my, I have, on my nights and I have Boss Moves by.
Hold on one second. We got to get this on film because my wife's at a house. I just got to make sure she's all right. Hello.
Hey, babe.
Hey. So, we're filming right now.
We're live right now.
I just wanted to pick it up and make sure you're safe. And here's.
I just got here. Hello? Hello?
So the door of one of our listings is wide open, and the neighbor called us.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
So Jessica had to go down there and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's just one of the agents left it open, like cracked.
After showing or something?
Hello?
Hopefully it's not a break-in. But she's got to be on the phone with me when she goes into an empty house like that.
Yeah.
Give me just a minute and double check the. Hello? I'm just upstairs first.
This is real life stuff, folks.
Wow, that scared me. There was a mirror inside the closet. Not myself. Hello?
Found myself in the closet.
Scarier if you were me and a big bald bearded guy was staring back at you. I even get scared about that.
Who's that guy?
Okay, upstairs is clear. I know the agent finally texted me back. She said she did show it. I mean, it might have just been kind of a lock was sticky or something and it didn't get completely locked. Hello?
Yeah, I bet the wind, being fairly windy, pushed it open and
maybe the door is a little not level.
Well, sometimes with those lock boxes, when people go to close them, they don't close all the way. They don't click, you know, because you gotta like a lot of times make sure it clicks.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't make it click, the lockbox gets in the way to where it is.
Yeah.
You know, sense. And then it's just barely open, and then wind or whatever.
My last place to check is the garage.
Man, if they're sleeping in the garage, power to them. It's got to be hot. It's not insulated in that one.
Okay, we're all good. It wasn't wide open, but it was just cracked, and unless someone's hiding in the pantry later and they're going to jump me, but I think I'm okay.
Okay. So you're going to lock up and get out of there?
Yep, sure am, and get back to what my day was going to be about.
Okay, so you're walking out the door right now?
No, I'm not. I had you in one hand and I had my pepper spray in the other.
Perfect. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right. I'm out now and I'm going to get the key. I got to use my phone and get the key out and lock it.
Okay, love you, bye.
All right, love you, bye.
Okay, so there's certain things like when I worked with Windermere, when I first got into real estate, they used to, when we had showings, they used to have this thing where we'd set up showings and then we'd basically kind of, I don't know if it was like an email almost, but we'd forward this thing off and it would tell them where we went.
Oh,
so
okay.
It would keep track of accountability.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of it is 60-something% of real estate agents are women, and they're more vulnerable in an empty house or something like that, you know. And so there's just precautions that a lot of companies take.
Yeah.
And we've kind of developed, you know,
A good system
where if there's something, you know, it's kind of just a little iffy, we just hopefully take precautions. You can't take precautions against everything,
right?
But hopefully you do enough to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, that's what that was, and I apologize you guys had to watch that, but it's actually a good thing.
It is a good thing
to see in real life that this is part of
the industry and the precautions you have to take, because you never know. Like, there's so many times people have, like, you know, somebody could have broken in, could have been a squatter in there, you know, or something like that. You hear about that.
And this house doesn't show vacant online. A lot of vacant homes, like when they don't show furniture, you do get those vagabonds or the people that are breaking in that just, you know, they need a place to stay. Take advantage of this. And you can look up online and see, you know, if a place doesn't have any furniture, you're like, oh, I could maybe stay in there. Maybe somebody left it unlocked. Maybe this or whatever.
Less precaution or something.
Maybe I can pick the lock. You know? So, this house, the lady's actually gone.
Oh,
but there's somebody living there, you know. But she's up north right now, staying with her sister as a place. But that's one of them that's closing in October.
Oh, okay.
So it's under contract.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, why is
extra?
That?
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Yeah. Maybe the inspector accidentally left it open. I can't remember when he went over there. But okay. So there was one thing I want to talk about in this episode, though, because I know we were talking about books and stuff, but this was a good segue out of what we were talking about, which was not about loans or listings. But I had some, so we have some clients that are going to be looking to build a home, you know, so they're looking at purchasing land, and then doing a construction loan. Now they own their house outright, and they're not saying whether this is going to be their primary or their secondary. They're not quite sure. They live in the 55 plus. They don't know what they're going to do with their current house. They're not quite sure what's happening with anything right now.
Yeah.
But they're pretty sure they want to build a house because they feel like at the end of the process,
they want something that they design their own, you know.
Potentially, they're not sure they even want to upkeep that land, but they feel like they build now, they could always sell that it'll always be a commodity. Yeah. So if they build and it's not something they're interested in, they can figure it out down the road.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their thoughts right now. And so we're having a builder meeting in the week. And so we took an application, and they have a ton of assets. Like, they're just fine with everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't know if they're going to actually have a loan at the end or not, what they're planning on doing, if they're going to pay it off or what they're doing. So we're trying to figure out what we can do as a lending side, because they want to take out a construction loan to do the construction, where we're not going to get taken advantage of ourselves.
It is tricky because, like, you know, everyone asks, like, what's the prepayment penalty? And most of the time people say, well, don't pay it off within 6 months. And the reality is that it's because there's a chain of effectively promises is the best way to describe it when a loan closes, right? So all of these are backed by...
Hold on one second. They call it a promissory note.
Yeah, it is true. A promissory note. So this is how it all ties.
Yep.
So basically, these rates that everybody loves to talk about are backed by investors. So whether that's, you know, Fannie, Freddie, private investors, you know, across all loan types, there's investors. So when the loan closes, that person is going to collect interest on it. The investor will make money on it. And if that loan gets paid off early and the investor did not get at least 6 payments, 6 months worth of money, they penalize the lender. The lender they go, hey, I'm imposing a fee or something on you because I didn't we didn't upkeep the promise of me being able to make the money for 6 months at least. And so they penalize the lender. So then the lender comes back, and as a broker, they say, hey, we got penalized because your client broke our promise essentially to the investor. So now they're like, hey, you got to pay back your commission. So effectively, all the work we end up doing for this, if they pay it off within 6 months, for most loan types it's gone. So
It's charged back.
It gets charged back. So now it feels like a double hit. It's like I would almost rather not make the money on it than have to pay something back. Because a lot of times, like I'm, going through, all right, great, the money hit my account. I've used it, or I've put it in savings or something like that.
And you already have like 20, 40 hours invested into this loan.
Right.
I mean, you've already invested so much, you get paid. And then it's like, they pay it off within that 6 months and you get charged back that money.
Yep.
And it's like you get spit in the face because you put in all that work.
Put in all the work. Yeah. And so it's like, I get it. So in one regard, like if that is their intention to pay it off early, then maybe it's like, well, we have to either look at a loan type that won't have that, because there are, as you said, this could be a second home. If it could be a second home, it could also be viewed as an investment property that they want to sell. So we could do it as a ground-up construction loan, which basically means that you tell them the budget you need, and then you get a giant line of credit, and you only pay interest on what you draw out throughout the process. Now, it's considered a hard money loan, so there is no early payoff, EPO, on a hard money loan. This is expected to be paid off early. So that would be probably the best way to go.
So there's no 6 months of seasoning before the payoff.
Yep, no 6 months.
So, and that would, I mean, in our head, that's the best way to go.
Right.
And these people are good friends of ours. We go to church together, and I don't think they want to take advantage of me. I don't want to take advantage of them. So we just have to have a mutual understanding in this whole situation. And so we'll figure out what those numbers look like, which I kind of need to know sooner than later, actually, now that we talk about it.
We just got to figure out like how much the land is that they're purchasing. Do they need to finance any portion of that as part of it? Because we just go over like the equation, I guess, real quick on it. So basically, when you look at either building for a primary or building for an investment, the construction loan product, just for simple terms, is all about cost and value at the end. So if, say, I'm just going to use the nice round numbers here. Let's say the total cost is $500,000. The land costs you $125,000, and your labor and materials cost you $375,000. That's where you get to $500,000. So if it's the case that they're going to take and you can buy the land as part of the transaction, and then you just got to do a down payment based on that. Now, obviously, if you put $500,000 in, typically the house is worth more, $600,000, $700,000. That's the whole plan, right?
Yep, that is the plan.
Yeah, which is how it should work. So like they'll look at like the bill details on it and all that too. But that's the equation. Now, if you're doing the investor one, you probably have to put 20% into it at least, and then if you're doing 20 to 30 even. But if you're doing it as a primary, you can get away with 5%. So that'd be the thing, like, all right, well, how much is the land? How much do you need to do as down payment? And then we got to kind of work it from there.
Okay. And I mean, that kind of makes sense. So the big thing, if you're doing it just as like a conventional type loan for a primary, 5% down, this land that they're looking at, the realtor owns it. The listing agent owns it. He purchased the land with a house, subdivided into 3 different parts, sold the house with the land. Now he has these 2 parts that they're building on. He has he has a working relationship with he actually works for a construction company, but he has a working relationship with a few different contractors. So they can decide price-wise, because there's obviously builders that they use different materials that cost different amount. So they're going to decide, and I think are going to cap themselves at $600,000. So if they did it as a primary, and let's go with the $500,000.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
initially they would owe that $25,000.
Right. You do down payment and then you have your closing costs, which is similar to like a conventional loan.
And so that closes in what amount of time, roughly?
They can
Like a month
take,
or something?
it can take 30 days. A little bit is because you're adding a third party. Anytime you add a third party, you have to figure out, all right, well, how responsive are they?
Mhm.
The builder has to get pre-approved.
Correct.
Not like a loan pre-approved, but we gotta be like, what's your experience? What's this? You know, how many have you done? How fast can you complete it in time?
So they basically fill out an application for the lender, and the lender makes sure that they're like a valid contractor that has
Yes.
experience and knows what they're doing.
Yep.
So, and then approves them.
Yeah. And we can get that done ahead of time too,
Mhm.
you know, before they even go, all right, I'm going to buy this. So if they have an idea. But you have to do that. And then you do like the whole underwriting process. So sometimes it can be 30 days. Sometimes you might need to 45. That's on the primary one.
Huh? But after that, let's just say 6 weeks.
Yep.
After that 6 weeks, what are you closing on at those 6 weeks?
So when we close, for the lending perspective, when we close at the 6 weeks, the fees and commission basically on it is based on the whole loan.
As if the house was already built.
As if the house was already built.
Okay.
So then we get that commission on it. Now, the construction loans, for like the primaries, they go what they call it one-time close construction, because what happens is you're going to close a particular rate, and that's going to be your interest rate for draws. You're going to make interest-only payments on the amount you take out through the build process, and then when you finish the house, you do a little bit of a modification. They'll say, "Hey, we closed you at say 8%, for your process. Now we're going to look at the market, and we're going to float you down to where the market's at if it's better. So if the market's at, say, 9 months from now, 5s, they'll float you down. Now your payment will be based on this, and it converts over to a regular 30 day mortgage. There's no
so the rate's not
requalification.
necessarily locked when you close at that.
Right.
With the exception that it's locked for those interest payments.
It's locked for the interest payments, but it's not. It can be better.
It can be better once the house is closed or done.
But it'll never be worse. So it is kind of locked.
Yeah.
So like
that is nice. Okay.
Yeah, it is. You're locked at
the
the
maximum
8.
is locked.
Yeah. So if say 9 months, rates are in the 10s, you're like, thank God I got an 8.
Yeah.
We
don't think that's going to happen. But.
No. But it can be better, never be worse. It's similar
cool.
in a locks. Yeah. So then the fun part for us as like lenders becomes we have to sweat it out for an additional 6 months. So if it takes 9 months to build a house, and then you're like, that's when our clock for this early payoff that we're talking about starts. So now you have to wait an additional 6 months. You're waiting like a year and a half, 15 months to be like,
do I get charged back or not?
yeah, am I getting charged back or not?
So you see the dilemma with this.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of,
yeah.
But it is a serious thing, and that's where this I like to be blunt and upfront to my clients. I want them to know ahead of time that this is exactly what's going to happen to them and to me.
Yeah.
And so we just got to have an understanding.
Yeah. We just have to figure out too. We just need to know before we can get numbers how much the land is going to be, how much, and then realistically, since they're buying the land, that just tells me that we're going one route. Because there are opportunities for those out there that if you're like, hey, I have been thinking about building a house, I already own the land, you can tap into that a little bit. So in this case, because if you had already put, say, 5% down, well, if you own the land outright, it's called a refinance one-time close construction. So whether you own, or you even don't have to own outright, they can refinance the loan on the land too, which means that however much you already have paid into the cost, that can become your down payment.
Based on what they say the land is worth. Which is really nice. It's basically just using your equity on the land to, finish the build, which is
or at least like make sure that you don't have to put a down payment at closing. You can even roll your closing cost into that too, which I'm doing for somebody right now.
That's super nice if you want to tie up some land now, but you're not like in a position to really build on it or anything. Yeah. But I got to tell you, tying up land can typically be more expensive than actually buying it with the construction.
I could see that. You're paying taxes on it for a period of time.
And you need so much more down.
Yeah.
So if you have a piece that's $200,000, which is what the land is we're looking at right now, $200,000, they're going to need how much down on like just a land loan?
Ooh, a land loan?
Like 30%, 35? 35%.
Yeah. 70 grand.
Yeah. So you're going to need 70 grand. Whereas if you do a construction loan for $500,000 or whatever, it's going to be closer to 600,000. But if you go up to 600,000, you're going to owe actually a lot less than just buying the land and tying up the land.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would just make sense to just do your down payment based on that.
As long as you're planning on, living in that house as soon as it's done being built.
Yeah.
You
can do a lot less for the purchase, primary, one-time close construction. If you go the construction route, you have to just base your down payment based on whatever lender is at. But it could be like seen as low as like 10, could be a little bit more depending on experience, depends on score even too for these types of things.
That makes sense.
Yep.
There needs to be some trust involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're going through a build, and if stuff falls apart, there needs to be some accountability. So there has to be, it feels like on a build, you got to be on point with everything.
Yeah.
It's not for the barely approved.
Right.
So.
There is opportunity. So don't be scared if you're doing it for the first time. As long as you put the general contractor in place. We have plenty of products, a couple that come to mind that are designed for first-time investors who are doing even your ground up. Okay. Yeah.
There's a product for everybody.
There is a product for everybody.
Why we have so many products as brokers. How many products do we have? Too many. See? Took them too long. We have too many.
It's an accountant. It's more than retail. Were they like 5?
I think we have like lenders alone. How many do we have? Like 120 or something? Or
yeah.
So that's just, and then those lenders have all sorts of different products under the belts.
Yeah, so, there's so many. There's so many solutions out there.
Yeah, that's why it's important to get with a broker rather than a retail lender, because they have more options to kind of look at things and be like, well, you want to go down this road, and there's nuances.
Yeah,
there's like nuances to each loan type and everything. So, yeah, man. You're so vital. So vital to this industry.
I do what I can. Just me alone. We lose Trent.
Wow, without Trent, we're pretty much in, I don't know.
Leaving it up to the buyers to pick the lender. Not any good recommendations.
We're going back to a cash system. You got to buy houses with cash without Trent.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this was a really fun episode.
Yeah, it was good.
And I'm not even going to point out the fact that you wore this orange thing 2 weeks in a row. This is crazy.
I know.
All the month of October, we were going to see Trent in this shirt or out of it.
Yep.
In another shirt.
Yeah. That works.
So, thanks, Trent.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Hey, you too.
See you in the next one.
We'll see you next time.
In this shirt here.